Fed up Kiwis have labelled Jacinda Ardern out of touch as they struggle to make ends meet, claiming New Zealand is in crisis. The Prime Minister has continued to reject the description despite the cost of living rising by 5.2% for the average household within a year. When asked if the country was experiencing a crisis, Ms Ardern told AM breakfast host Ryan Bridge, "I wouldn't describe it that way." But fed-up Kiwis have hit back as households are forced to fork out an extra $5,000 in the past 12 months on basics like food, rent and fuel. Speaking with AM on Tuesday, mum of 5 Christine Nation, who is unemployed, claimed her family's expenses have exploded to $7,000 a year. To say there isn't a crisis, she needs to get on the ground floor, Ms Nation said. "I couldn't understand why we were struggling so much when in the first lockdown I was teaching people how to buy their groceries for $200 a week and live comfortably. In just over a year my groceries have increased $7,000 annually. That's a lot. My husband hasn't received a $7,000 increase in his pay." Concerned Kiwi Steve Christodoulou said the cost of living was starting to impact his family, despite not being on a low income. "It really irked me when the Prime Minister said this is not a crisis because look, I am not going to lie, I wouldn't classify myself as being on the breadline. However, there are things we notice changing drastically," he told the program. "If I am feeling the pinch, then the people who are really at the bottom are really going to be struggling." Kiwis struggling with the cost of living spike also took to social media to slam the Prime Minister refusing to acknowledge the country was in crisis. The Prime Minister was always quick to point out in opposition when there was a crisis. But suddenly when she's the leader, there is no crisis. "I mean, come on," wrote one person. "People are struggling, and taxing them more isn't helping." "This government is gaslighting the country. NZ is in mega crisis in so many different ways. Jacinda has no empathy left and needs to get back in touch with the citizens of NZ," commented another. "Out of touch with Kiwis. This woman is so deluded and blind and has no empathy for what Kiwis are going through, struggling with and suffering for," added a third. Others, however, argued the cost of living has risen across the world as COVID-19 and Russia's invasion of Ukraine drives up inflation and oil prices. "Yep, and most of those costs are beyond government control. The pandemic and now a war has had a huge impact on the whole planet. A bit silly to blame current government," commented one person. Ms Ardern said while inflation has risen, Kiwis have also seen wage growth and the rise to minimum wage and family tax cuts. "The thing we've always got to keep in mind is what's happening to people's income relative to the cost of living," she told AM on Monday. "Since we came into government we know that for instance incomes have been lifting more than that cost of living. What we see at the moment is an exception at this period of time. The cost of living debate comes on the back of fierce protests against COVID restrictions in the country, with police recently breaking up a days-long gathering outside the New Zealand Parliament.